My IR book, I read Inner Excellence, and it was written by Jim Murphy. This book isn't like your average novel with a story and a plot. This book is more informational. Jim Murphy wrote this book to help readers personally develop. Also, he focuses on how to train your mind to be mentally stronger. As I mentioned earlier, this isn't your typical book, and there aren't any characters in the book. On the contrary, though, there are many famous and successful people who have their own little sections where they are quoted. When it comes to my favorite character, though, I would have to say Jim Murphy. He is the narrator of the book and is also the author. I really liked how he wrote this book in a way that his sentences flowed, and how he put the words together really made me stop and think about the deeper meaning of what I was reading. He had me constantly going back and rereading sentences and or paragraphs. Out of the many people who were quoted throughout the book, it's hard to pick a least favorite. If I had to pick one that I liked the least, though, it would be Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson was a famous professional basketball coach. He coached the Lakers and the Bulls when MJ played there. I like this part the least because I feel like he didn't really contribute a whole lot to the book. He kind of just talked about how good his teams were that he coached, the players on the teams, and how good his career was. And for a quote that I found significant, it reads, "Nobody can make you feel inferior, less competent, or less able unless your own mind thinks the thought, accepts, and infers it," which is found on page 26. And I chose this quote because the majority of the book is spent talking about how to deal with self-doubt. And that is exactly what this quote is talking about. I find this quote significant because it sums up how Jim Murphy describes what self-doubt really is. It also shows one of his main points throughout the novel, that everything in your life stems from your own mind and how you view yourself and the things around you. So piggybacking off that last question, I can relate to that particular quote and everything he mentions about self-doubt. I can relate to this because as an athlete, I personally deal with self-doubt, especially because of the sport that I play, baseball. Baseball is a sport of failure. You can fail more times than you succeed and end up being placed in the Hall of Fame for the MLB. So when playing a sport of failure, it is easy to get down on yourself sometimes. This is why I can relate to this section so much. I also found this section very helpful because of how he explains how to deal with self-doubt. Jim Murphy said that I bet you don't even realize it, but when you are doing something that you tend to doubt yourself in, if you fail, I guarantee that you talk poorly about yourself in your own head. And he was completely right. I don't even think about it, I just do it. He then went on to say that the best way to handle situations like this is to recognize your failure, learn from it, and then leave it in the past and focus on what's next in the future. I'm starting to take this advice and use it during my baseball games, and I've instantly seen success. Jim Murphy ends the novel summarizing all of the main points that he wants people to take away from his book. I found this ending very satisfying in that I really enjoyed how he decided to end the book. He also encourages readers towards the end to not just pursue excellence in what you are doing, but he says to pursue excellence in yourself, hence the name of the title, Inner Excellence. I feel that this book could not have ended well any other way than how it did. I really enjoyed how he strung all the lessons together before ending the book. This book would be challenging to make into a movie because there isn't a plot to follow along for the movie to go off of. Therefore, if there was a movie, I think it would have to be a sports movie with its own plot. It would still be linked to Inner Excellence because it would teach the same lessons throughout the movie that the book does. So I would choose Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger to be my two actors to star in the movie. I picked Sylvester because he played an amazing job as Rocky Balboa in the Rocky movies. So I think he would be a perfect fit for the sports-themed movie. And then I picked Arnold because his character in a lot of movies that he plays are very hardcore. So I think he would be a perfect fit to get these lessons across that Jim Murphy did through his book. When it comes to this book, I would only recommend it for certain people. This book was great overall. I thoroughly enjoyed every part of it, and I don't have many complaints about it either. Although I do not think that this book is for everyone. I would strongly recommend this book towards athletes. After reading this book, I believe that all, if not most athletes should read this book.